All right, so I wake up and just out of curiosity, even though this ain't directly my business, it is, it actually is at the same time, it's indirectly. But so I happen to wake up and decide, um, let me check, not just the weather, but let's see how these schools is doing in 2026. I see they keeping the same energy, boy. If it's one snowflake or a billion, zillion, trillion, billion snowflakes, they gonna close. Anyway, I'm like, the kids just got off of the holiday, the Christmas break, the winter break, whatever y'all calling it. And literally already, truth be told, they should have just stayed out of school until the day after Martin Luther King Day. That's literally what should have happened. Literally, with the weekend just being the weekend by itself. Then you had professional development day. Some schools, y'all know who you are. And then they flip flopped in other districts, then also did it on a different day. So you had your professional development days of just right off rip. I'm like, God, dog, they just went back to school. Then you had this snow day, which y'all ain't gonna get me started about back in my day. If you didn't have a 10 on the Richter scale or whatever, a blizzard, you went to school. I swear, school bus drivers and whatnot had to have extra, they had to have superpowered, CDLs and driver's licenses and whatever the requirement is to operate the bus back in the day. Because we went to school. But I'm saying just those three reasons right there. Like I said, MLK coming up, and that always falls on a Monday. Top of your week, gets delayed by a day, and the kids got to settle in school a day after the day that they should settle in. I just realized why we are dealing with so many ailments just because we just can't do right. You know, like with children with sensory issues and having ADHD and autism on different spectrums and levels. I mean, but yeah, because they can't get accustomed to a stable, solid, um, consistent routine and regimen of what they need. So you can't get mad at the kid when, all right, kids, it's time to clean up. And then it's like, oh, no, we got to clean up. Because their whole life doesn't have consistent structure because we close down the schools at moment's notice. You know what I'm saying? Just the professional development days are unreal. I'm like, you didn't develop the profession before you got into it. And not trying to be funny because I do know that there needs to be continuous, ongoing education, refreshers, and updates on different things that are happening. But now somehow you got to incorporate that into your business day on the day that you normally work anyway. Somehow you're going to need to have a 2 or 3 hour extended day on the day that you work already so that you don't have to stop. It's one thing to have a group of people come in and have your back and say, I'm going to hold down your class and deal with the class and teach and run your lesson while y'all do your professional day meetings or whatever you need to do. But since we don't, because our system's messed up anyway, so now you got to interrupt the flow of the educational process and wonder why our kids are struggling and wonder why we just can't be great. I'm just saying, it just irks me because it's not even just the fact that it's a snow day. Because, hey, I took a long extended ride across town yesterday during the weather in progress, which it was after school. So I imagine commutes going home from school yesterday were kind of. But by now, we should have settled into the snow, and our people should be out there salted the roads, clearing the roads. Snow done settled in. At the end of the day, what is it? It's just snow. Okay, people ought to know by now, if you've been in Michigan for a long period of time, how to drive like you got some doggone sense and make the adjustments based on what the weather conditions and road conditions are. That I'm sure they taught you that back in driver's education. You're so happy to have gotten over that part of it that you forget what you should have learned back then and come out here and drive like a dang on fool, you know, and cause issues. Man, I digress though. I'm about to go back to sleep. Maybe take a nap. No, I'm not. Let me stop lying. It's about to be 6 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and get up since I'm woke now. Ain't no point playing. Because I still got to go to where I got to go. Because we going to be hoping to get some of those kids that done now have a snow day. Whether they sled down the hill or throw some ice skates on. I don't think I'm going to be closed. We're not going to be closed. So I'm just going to do what I normally do. And I'm going to march. And this going to be the fun little fitness thing of the day. I'm going to march knees up, feet up through the snow and get to where I got to go. But I'm just saying, all these extra days of schools being closed, how do y'all expect these children to retain anything, to connect with anything? How do you expect them to have consistency in how they move? How do you expect them to complete processes thoroughly? You know, if there's no consistency on the expectation of get up and go to school, you should be in the rhythm and routine of it. Because y'all know the minute y'all know schools is closed, me personally, and I don't have any for now, we're still going to leave that one up to God, but my children would get on up. I would run them through them rudiments, you know. And if some of these schools knew they was closed last night, so that means now you're sleeping in just because you can at this point, when essentially you should get on up. You might not be leaving the house, but you should get on up. And parents, this is a good time for y'all to sit down around the breakfast table and have a legitimate, bona fide, not rushing out the door breakfast. Okay? And you should sit down and maybe stretch with the children. Sit down, somebody read a book, read a book, read a book. You know, you can still keep that consistency going. Because now you're delaying their whole get up early process and get moving process, when you should do that anyway. Because this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And God woke you up. And if the circadian rhythms are on task, them babies are just waking up automatically because you've already gotten them into the routine. Let them have a nap. It's okay. Y'all can have a nap during the siesta time of the day. But get on up. Because then tomorrow they're going to be dragging out the bed when they got to go back to school. Which, by the way, LOL, it's Friday. So they're going to be in school for a few hours. And God forbid they got an early dismissal. Don't let there be somebody with an early dismissal tomorrow. Because there's some parents saying, you might as well not even go to school. Because guess what? Friday now's the weekend. What is we going to do? We got to get it together. I swear, we literally have to do better. Oh, well, here's what it is. And I'm honestly one to talk. So, I said that because it was on my heart. It was on my spirit. But yeah, can we consider that? Just go ahead and clear Martin Luther King Day before returning to the regularly scheduled program, because this didn't quite come on now. They literally this is a triple whammy. This is literally quadruple, because weekend. Remember weekend, because based on how the holidays fell, they brought you into the weekend. And then into the beginning of the week. Then you had the weekend. Then you had a professional development. If you got kids in separate school systems, they bopped. One was on the Friday of all days, and one was on the Monday. And with preschoolers, and you have them, I understand you. If you got older kids and they out of school, seeing that preschooler is not going to school if the rest of the kids aren't going. I get it. Then you got this snow day. Come on now. Man, God is not the author of confusion. And that is literally befuddling me right now.